Hey guys, Angerfist here. I'm gonna make you a guide on Demon Hunter and gonna tell you about the gear and the stats and the skills and everything. So here we go. Okay, let's see here. Then I want to say a little bit about what you should re-roll on the gear you get, because now you have the whole set, right? And you're thinking, what the fuck should I reroll here? And then the important thing in this build is to, like, on these shoulders you want to have the area damage. You can get like maximum is the 20%, you see, and you want 20% on the shoulders if you have the dexterity and the vitality, and always on it from before. Maybe you can also have cooldown reduction or resource reduction, could be like instead of always, and then reroll area damage on top of that. It's really good with area damage and do a much more damage for you as a Demon Hunter with Multishot. Also, now I'm showing the head that I'm using. It's not perfect because I just got it and it was a crappy roll on this ancient one. But I'm gonna show you the old one. Non-ancient, but if you see, it's dexterity, crit chance on max, and then you want 15% of the multi-shot damage on top of that. And this one is not perfect either, because I really wanted to have vitality also on this item. So dexterity, vitality, and then crit chance and multi-shot percent. That will be the greatest one. But hey, it's not easy to get the best rolls all the time, so just have to do the best you can out of the gear you get. So crit chance and multi-shot damage is the most important after dexterity, so then you know what to roll on the head. And then you have the hands. Really, that's more like a item that gives you a lot of damage boost, so you want attack speed, critical hit damage, and you want crit chance. And better stats you have on those, the better it is. Like, it's the pure damage boost on the hands, so just roll the best you can. The chest, the important thing on the chest is to have dexterity, vitality. After that, you really want to have the 12% maximum discipline. That's extremely important on the chest. Not many know about it, but with the 12% on the chest and the percent you get on the quiver and stuff like that, the pool you have is higher. And if you see on the set bonus, it says that increases by the discipline you have. So when the damage is increased by the discipline you have, then you have a higher pool, then you take the pool, and then you see 85. I have 85, and then from each point of those you get 20% increased damage per point. So 85, and then you get 20% of each of those points. That's around, I think, around 1400% extra damage for that. Like, the pool is important as fuck. That's the main thing you should know. So roll if you have Dex and Vitality on the chest, you don't give a fuck about anything else, then you just go on secondary and re-roll 12% discipline on the secondary. That's not even thought. That's the thing you should do. And you have the pants. Here you want the main stats like dexterity, vitality, but you can also roll. Let me see if I find my old pants. Not these. No, I don't have the old pants. But you want the dexterity and vitality highest as possible, and of course Aures is good, and you can roll some percent damage on the pants, but yeah, that's not that important. It's basically just boost your dexterity and vitality, survivability, like life percent, and yeah, Aures. Then you have the feet, the boots, whatever you want to call them. There you want dexterity, vitality. The movement speed is not that important on the shoes. If you get like other stats besides the movement speed, it doesn't matter, because the important things on these shoes are the multi-shot damage percent. It's extremely important there. So, and you know, the reason I say that movement speed is not that important on the shoes is because you have paragon levels, and you can just plop in the points you need for the movement speed cap in the paragon levels. So don't think about that. Don't stress about that on your feet. Just get the multi-shot damage percent. That's the important. Yeah, and then you have the focus and restraint. You want critical hit damage and crit chance on it, and of course sockets. You want socket in it so you can use all the goody legendary gems. So, and of course you want the ancient one, but I didn't get those yet. But the stats, dex, crit chance, and critical hit damage, important. And then we have this Deadman Legacy, the offhand, the quiver, one of the main things in the whole build. The important things to look at when you get one of these is that the attack speed is on max 20%, that the crit chance is high as possible, but the main thing is to look at the multi-shot hit below percentage, because that could be up to 60%. So that is important. Higher that is, better it is. And the also important thing here is to get the maximum discipline and the multi-shot damage. It doesn't matter really if it's high or not that high dex and vitality. The main stats on this one is the multi-shot damage, the secondary discipline, and the multi-shot hit the enemies below twice. That's the thing you want to look at. Because it could be shitty, like dex-wise and shit like that, but don't care about that, because if you have the main stats, that will boost you enough anyway. So yeah, that's the important things with the quiver. Then we have the weapon. I was lucky on this last one here, but obviously it could be better. But as I know, many people don't know what to reroll, and you have like a GIF ready to put on ancient weapon you get, but you really are stuck. You don't know what's the best thing to do. Like here, I had the damage percent. I had high enough dexterity. I have a resource cost reduced, and yeah, I have also maximum discipline on this weapon. So the thing I did, it was to roll 24% more area damage. That's the best choice I could choose. I could choose the attack speed, but overall the 24% area damage on hit gives you a lot more than the 7% attack speed. So, but also I know many people look at the white damage like, oh my god, it's like 3290. Shit, that's a good item. Eh? But really, the damage per second, it's two numbers, right? If you put the 1817 and then plus the 2884, you plus those together, then you split that on 2, then you will get the average damage that weapon do. It's I could show you. I'm gonna show you an example on that, like mathematic example on that later. But that's what's counting, not the main white damage on the bow. So have that in the back of your mind when you're rolling and screaming about your ancient drops. Okay, guys, now I'm gonna explain the skills for you, so you know why and what to use. This is Multishot with the arsenal. It's fire, so it's doing fire damage. And you also have rockets. You see 3 rockets. That is also doing good damage. So for this skill here, you want to also use this ballistic passive skill, because that one increases the damage of your rockets. So those two combined is super good. And then you have evasive fire. Now I'm using the one rune so you get armor, but if you have problems with regen of the hatred, then you should use the focus, the cold one, because then you generate 7. So let me see. And then you have vault. Yeah, to vault around, obviously, to, yeah, if you come into situations you feel to escape from the enemies or go faster through a map or whatever, you want to vault. And this one is with the rune that reduces the discipline cost, so that is also good with this build, since you need discipline to do more damage. And here also, when we're talking about doing more damage with the discipline, you have this preparation skill, and the rune here is making you restore the discipline instantly. Like if you see the pool here is going down to like half, something like that, because you've been vaulting like a retard, then pop this preparation and you will have more discipline instantly. And also a good thing with this, it increased the discipline like forever by 20. So the pool getting 20 more discipline. So Then we have the Vengeance with Seed, and this is for hatred regeneration. So when you pop this, you gain the hatred fast, really fast. And this one is also, yeah, you have 2 items in the cube that's working with this skill, so you should be able to pop this pretty often because of cooldown reduction and yeah, all that. I can show you more after because we're going over to the Cupid item afterwards. And we have the companion with the wolf. Thing is with this one, when you fight elites or bosses and heavy amount of mobs, you want to pop this at the same time as your vengeance. Then you get increased damage for 10 seconds, and it's 30% increased damage. So, and this is also global, like for all others in your group, this work for as long as they are in 60 yards from you when you're popping the skill. But mainly for it's good to use often for you when you feel like it's hard mobs or hard elites or whatever. Just pop both of those together. And then we have the ambush that's dealing more damage to enemies that are like higher than 75% of the health. This is good also because we have the quiver, and the quiver is doing extra damage to mobs under like 50-60%ish, depends how many percent you have on the quiver. So these two works perfectly together. This is above and you have the quiver below. So, and the thing is, you also will use this increased damage against slowed or shield enemies by 20%. Now I have on my Hellfire neck, I have Trail of the Hunt passive, so that's why you don't see the skill here, because the Trail of the Hunt is every time you use your hatred spenders, like the multishot, you slow all the enemies you hit for 80%. So this one is working with this one perfectly. Then you slow them first, and then you do extra damage. So win-win. So for you guys that not having a Hellfire neck, then you should change this Blood Vengeance out with the Trail of the Hunt, like this one, and then you have perfectly set up. For you guys that have a Trail of the Hunt on a Hellfire neck, then you can choose between Blood Vengeance or Archery or Steady Aim, whatever you want to. It doesn't matter. Also, if it's good to have like a extra life, not dying as fast as you could without this. So yeah, it's more defensive, helps you a bit. So I think that was the skills. So now we should be going over to showing you guys how to play this build the right way. So I'm gonna show you now. So now I'm Torment 10 and going into a Rift, and I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, now you see I'm popping the Vengeance and the Companion, and as you see, I can click one time on the multi-shot and I literally, yeah, one-shot people or mobs, not people, but I do one-shot the mobs. It's pretty insane damage. And the important thing when you're playing this build is to always be looking at your hatred amount and not be vaulting too much, because if you vault too much, the discipline pool will go down and you will do less damage, like, I mean, insanely more less damage. So it's not good to do that. But if you fall down on your discipline because a situation you have to vault like a lot and stuff, then you just use your preparation, the skill on number 1. You see the green light that popped out? It shows that I popped the preparation skill. But I have cooldown, so you can't actually do that all the time. But mainly what you want to do is to pop this and this, number 1 and number 3 and number 4, the mention and the companion. You pop those two together, then you just vault and spam the multishot button. It's pretty easy to do, as long as you pay attention to your pools. That's the main thing. And also to pop those 2 skills whenever you can. It's also important. And for people that don't have all the items you need in the cube, you will be having problem with the cooldowns. It will take much longer time to actually gain the cooldown back. Like it takes a lot of time, so you can't pop that skill that often. But it's possible to play without those items, but it's not that great as if you have the items. So as you see, it's pretty OP to just do this build. It's insanely how heavy damage you actually do. And you can just jump around and just spam those multishots, and everything is going down, as you see. And I will also show you guys about the items in the cube, what items I'm using. And now you see my discipline is on 48, it's low. I popped my preparation, now it's full. So that's the thing you have to look at all the time. Not to drop down too much, because I promise you the damage is like, if you are like empty, then your damage is like, for me it's minus 1400% ish on my damage, and that's huge difference. So you will see when you're playing this yourself, you will see. And but it's not any other big thing you have to be aware of with this build. It's mainly the pools, and to use your skills as often you can. That's the thing. Besides that, it's easy peasy to do this. And yeah, of course, don't go into situations that you don't want to be in. Like, watch out, see, look at what mobs you're playing against, what they do, and also try to kill the mobs before they coming up to your face. Like, try to hold them away from yourself. That's about it, I think. It runs and yeah, go fast solo. Also, this build works great in groups, so you don't need to respec to go in a group, and you don't need to respec to go in Greater Rift. I personally did go Greater Rift level 70 solo with this gear, so it's pretty great. It's possible to do both things, like farming and climbing the Greater Rift ladder. So that was showing you guys how to play. Awareness if you're going higher Greater Rift. Cube, what should you have there? Yeah, you should have the Dawn. It's a one-hand weapon, and it reduced the cooldown of Vengeance by 65%. And this is the Vengeance. That's the one that regains the hatred, and the one you should be popping whenever you can. But as you see, it's cooldown 90 seconds. So that's a long time to wait. But with this head in the cube, you will gain the effect of the Dark Heart rune. Okay? The Dark Heart rune. What is that? Yeah, that is, you feel your heart reducing all the damage taken by 50%. Okay. So that means the time that you're having that skill up, you gain this, so you have 50% less damage taken. So that is a very, very good thing. But with this cooldown reduction and with this extra rune added, and with this ring, it's the convention of elements that you gain 200 increased damage of the single element, like for 4 seconds. It's rotating between all the elements, like cold, fire, holy, lightning, arcane, and poison, and physical. But for us, we going for the fire one, so it rotates to fire in between, and then you do 200% damage. So it's a good ring to have in the cube. Yeah, I'm gonna also show you guys the stats I have, like in details, and little into the paragon levels as well. But as you see, crit chance, the most important with the crit chance and the critical hit damage is that if you have like 500 critical hit damage, then you should have at least 50 crit chance. And same is with if you have 400, then you should have 40. So when you have those two numbers, like I'm saying, the crit chance will back up the critical hit damage, and the critical hit damage will back up the crit chance. And by that you be able to crit a lot more. Yeah. Also, I have area damage, 94%. It's high. And the reason I have that is because the area damage percent is pretty insane these days. It's always been insane, but now it's like better. And with multi-shot, you're doing a hell of a damage to like many mobs at the same time. So this area damage will then apply to many mobs at the same time. Also, the thing is, as you see in my head, I have reduced cooldown of all skills, the best gem you can make. That gives 12% or 12.5% cooldown reduction. Also, since I'm pretty high on my paragon levels, I started to plop in my points into the cooldown reduction in paragon as well. And you see, the fire damage increased. I had 20%. If you see here, I have 2.2 million damage on the sheet here. But if you hold over the fire percent damage, I have 2.7 mil damage. So the fire damage I do is higher than the sheet damage. And I will recommend to have like 20% fire damage at least on the bracers. No matter what bracers you're going with, but I would always have and roll the fire damage percent 20% on the bracers. And you also have the multi-shot damage increase. This is now it's a little lower than I had before. I had like 5 more. Because of my head here, its multi-shot damage is 10%, but my old head was 15%, so I had 130-ish. But it's most important to have high as you can get on this multi-shot increase. And where you can get it is, of course, the quiver, and you can get it on the boots and the head. So I would roll the percentage wherever I could on the multi-shot damage increase. So and then we have the movement speed. I don't have as much movement speed on the gear so you see 10% here, and then the rest is in the cube. But like I mentioned before, I would, if you get a good ancient item and it don't have movement speed on it, I wouldn't roll movement speed on it. I would just use the paragon levels to get the cap on 25%. I wouldn't roll and destroy the item because the multi-shot damage is more important than the movement speed. So I'm not saying that movement speed is not important, but hey, you can use the paragons to do that shit. So if you see here, we can start here. Area damage is maxed, and same is with the resource reduce and the life on hit. So every time I shoot, I gain life on hit. Also here, if you're starting to max the all resist and then the armor and then the life, then you can do the life regen at the end when you're getting higher paragon. Also here with the offensive, I would actually look at your stats and see the balance between the critical hit damage and the crit chance. If you have like a shitload of critical hit damage, then I would plop in the points to get, like, if you have 500, then you want 50%. So make the balance between those two, and then if you have that, I would just max the attack speed and then max those two others, and at the end I would do the cooldown reduction on max. Also here, like I said, the movement speed, you plop in the points you need for 25%. Depends on your gear, how much you have on the gear, and then rest goes into the dexterity. That's about it, about the paragons levels and the stats, I think. Okay guys, I think this is it for this guide or the video. So if you have any questions at all that I did forget in this video, or some special questions that you want to know, ask me about it, and I will answer you if I can. And then also I want to say thank you all for watching, and I hope it's helping you guys out with your demon hunters. And yeah, I'll see you next time.